Welcome to Random Select. Please enjoy.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Random Select. I'm your host, Mario, and this week we're going to talk about a wide variety of things. Going to give you a quick show rundown in a couple minutes, but before I do that, I just want to say something. I'm going to say it real quick, then we're going to move on. At its core, this podcast is meant to be listened to. So even though it appears on YouTube, I don't want you to feel like you're held hostage by watching the screen. We would prefer that you just listen to it. You can listen to it in the car, while you're working out, while you're at the park, while you're cleaning up, while you're doing all sorts of things. And if you're a student, listen to it while you're doing your homework. But please don't feel like you have to be watching the screen all the time. The show is meant to be listened to. Alright, now with that being said, let me give you a quick show rundown and then we're going to jump right into today's topic. I'm adding a new segment to the show that I'm calling Top 5. Each week I'm going to give you the top 5 something that's in my opinion, whether it be movies, whether it be top 5 sports, top 5 games, and yes, to all controversial top 5 rappers, which in itself in the last decade or so has taken on a new meaning. When you talk about top 5 rappers these days, people get really serious about the list, and if your list doesn't compare to theirs, they get really agitated and defunct about it. But yeah, there's a new segment that's going to go in. It's going to be the top 5 something. And this week I decided to go real simple, keep it nice and neat, top 5 movies. And these are not going to be top 5 movies that broke any type of records. These aren't going to be any movies that were critically acclaimed or anything like that. This is just going to be the top 5 to me. You know, my personal top 5, and a little bit about why I think they belong in the top 5. So if you have any comments or questions, or you would like to suggest your top 5 of anything, go ahead and leave it at the Gmail email account. That's randomselect with 2 T's at gmail.com, or leave a comment on Twitter. That's at randomselect with 2 T's as well. Alright, let's get into a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We're definitely going to talk about Nas and his baby's mother, who's allegedly homeless now. Their daughter has turned 18, so therefore the last child support payments checks have stopped. So she supposedly is homeless now, and the question is, people are asking, should Nas, because he has money, be on the hook for taking care of her, or either putting her up somewhere? So we'll get into that as well. We're also going to talk about the whole conspiracy to kill Lil Wayne by Birdman and Young Thug. And I'm just going to say allegedly because only in, this was said in the indictments. We're also going to talk about Brandy singing on the subway, which people say it's embarrassing that she didn't garner much fanfare. And I say that's highly debatable. I don't really know how I feel about that yet. But by the time we get to it and talk about it, I may have some opinion about it. But you could just really tell she wasn't really singing to try to garner much fanfare. It's one of those type of things where maybe the guy or the person who was holding the video camera just dared her something, crazy like that. And then this spun into what it is now, something that we're talking about. Also, we're going to get into a topic that was brought to me last week. A friend of mine asked me, how come men change as time go on? When they meet women, how come the person that they end up being is not the person that they originally represented themselves to be? Now, I know deep down inside that there's no one particular answer to this particular question, but I'm going to bring sort of a unique perspective to it. I don't know how it's going to come across, but I'm going to try nevertheless. We're going to definitely get into that, and that's going to be pretty much the meat and potatoes of today's show. How come men change? So, it's a lot. We're going to get right into it. We're not going to pull any punches, and let's just get to it. Alright, with the whole Nas thing, I just think that And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because to me it's kind of open and shut. I don't know. I didn't even really want to do too much research into this because it's one of those, to me, common sense type answers. But I know once you start to look at things and dig a little deeper, you will always find something contrary or something that wasn't reported in the particular story. You know, I don't know whether she's a drug abuser. I don't know where something mental is going on. She's bipolar or something that will make her neglect, her household and not have a place to stay. Don't know all of that, don't know. But I'm just merely speaking my opinion on the surface of this. Nas, by law, has done all that he needed to do. He's paid his child support payments. I don't know if they were on time. I don't know how hard she had to fight, and I don't know if he owe any back child support or anything like that. Not speculating on that. I'm just saying if everything is current and up to date, he has definitely done all that he needed to do. It is not Nas's job to make sure that she has a place to stay. Now, if you're a good father, you will want to make sure that the girl who's 18 now has a place to stay. But that's as far as it extends. He's not obligated to pay bills for her. He took care of the creation that they had together. The girl. He don't owe her anything. He don't have to do for her. Now, if you want to do it out the kindness of his heart and be a upstanding gentleman to make people say, hey, Nas, you were cool. You did the right thing. Then that's cool. I have no problem with it. But if he didn't do it, I also don't have a problem with that. He should sleep well at night because it's not his job to take care of her. Now, look at this, people. If the shoe was on the other foot and Nas was homeless, and she had a little money, instead of people saying to her, why don't you help your baby father out, everybody be looking at Nas and it's a damn shame that he let himself fall on hard times like that. He's a man. He's supposed to be able to provide. He's supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that. So if the shoe was on the other foot, no one would even remotely suggest to her to offer Nas a helping hand to help him get back on his feet. And now if she did that, then I wouldn't have any problem with that because, hey, that means that they just had the type of relationship where she wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to him. After all, it is the father of her child. And I'm hoping that Nas would sort of kind of take that approach saying, hey, this is the mother of my child, but we don't know, people, what type of bad blood there was. We don't know where did Nas take her through hell? Did she take Nas through hell? We just don't know those type of things. So before you be quick to rush to judgment and say what Nas should or shouldn't be doing with his money, just know at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, the truth is, the pure, unadulterated truth is, he is not obligated to care for that lady's well-being. Plain and simple. Now, if you feel contrary to that, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a message at Twitter, Random Select with 2 T's, or you can leave me a message, randomselect@gmail.com. I know it's going to be people out there who have strong opinions about it. And as well, you probably should. But let's just agree that, honestly, it is really, truly, if you're thinking about this as a sensible adult, not looking at it from he got money standpoint. If you're looking at this logically, if he was a normal, regular, average man who couldn't do anything for her, you would say, if that was your brother, if that was your uncle, if that was your son, you would say, sorry for her. Sorry to hear that she's doing that. I will make sure my grandbaby is taken care of, my niece is taken care of, but it's hard for you to condone or sign off on the fact that your son, your uncle, or your brother should take care of her. Especially if you're in another relationship already. That's going to cause all type of friction in your household. And at this particular stage, do he really need that headache? And besides, where is her people? Why did she get to be homeless? Where's her parents, her brothers, her friends? Somebody. Why does the responsibility have to directly fall to Nas? That's all I'm saying. Think about it logically, people. And in your hearts of hearts, the answer will come to you. Alright, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to move on to the whole collusion thing with Birdman and Young Thug and Lil Wayne. It's almost sad to see that it come to this, because for a long time Lil Wayne has been, since I've been listening to Lil Wayne, and don't get this twisted, I'm not coming from a diluted standpoint where I don't even listen to the music, or I'm just saying this because of some story that I read. I've pretty much heard every Lil Wayne album out. And I know people have a problem with calling him Lil Wayne. It's just hard for me to say Lil, Lil Wayne. I mean, I say Lil Wayne, but for hood purposes, I'll say Lil Wayne. It's almost sad that since I've been listening to Lil Wayne, he's always giving this man shout out, Weezy F baby, and please say the baby. Now, I don't know the inner workings of what happened, and I ain't gonna, pretend to claim to know what happened, as far as this go. But anybody who's been saying for the better part of 10 years that you are his father, he is your daddy, obviously there's some type of respect and admiration there. And looking at your roster and looking at how this man has carried, the just carried the label Cash Money. When you think of Cash Money, you don't think of Birdman, you don't think of anybody but Lil Wayne. So he carried you for a long time. And if it's the one person you wouldn't screw, if it's one person you just wouldn't screw, you wouldn't mess around with, even if it costs you to take a little less, even if it costs the company to, not look as big and bright to whatever investors or whoever you got else trying to make the company look good to, even at the risk of all of that, you give the bell cow its money. You understand? You don't mess around with Lil Wayne's money. And I don't know if Lil Wayne was running around being an ass thinking he the shit for all intents and purposes. But if I know that this is my ace pitcher, this is my Tom Brady, this is my, I don't know if you want to say Tom Brady, but this is my Joe Montana person that you could count on in the clutch and that has carried this team. I don't know why Lil Wayne don't have scoliosis for carrying. His back should be killing him for carrying Cash Money for so long. As Birdman, some part of you should say to yourself, no matter what, I'm not going to screw this man. I'm not going to do this to him, because without Lil Wayne, Cash Money would just be some little rinky-dink organization that no one would really care about. He made it what it is. So, I don't know. To me, and then to get to the point where you don't want to pay him, and then allegedly to go into collusion to say you want to kill the man. It's one thing to not want to pay somebody. It's another thing to have a dispute saying that, okay, he thinks I owe him this, I paid him that, therefore we're even. It's one thing to have a debate about how much money is owed. It's a whole nother ball game, a whole nother arena, a whole nother just stratospheric atmosphere to decide that you and another man want this man totally out the picture, to kill him. This man has kids. At the end of the day, it's music. At the end of the day, I understand there's millions of dollars at stake here, and people will kill for $40, let alone the type of money that they're talking about. I don't know. I just think that it should be some way to work this out. Or if it ain't some way to work it out, you let the lawyers work it out. But this is not worth trying to collude to kill this man. I mean, granted, it's a lot of money. And granted, I don't know if you doing it because, allegedly doing this because of your word, or because he hurting your reputation or something like that. I don't know what it is, but this is not enough to say, let's take Lil Wayne, one of the, perceived best rappers out there, out over just a little money. And regardless of if it, the money, it should have never came to this. Lil Wayne was your, Justin Verlander. Lil Wayne is your person that you just don't let hit the free agency market, because you inside the organization know his value. You got to know this man's value. You got to know that he helped stabilize your company, your livelihood, your record label. Now, looking at it from the Lil Wayne standpoint, how does this make you feel with all the alleged, hey, all these people are part of Bloods and all this type of stuff? And I don't even want to get into all that because that's something I have no clue about. I don't know nothing about, and I don't want to pretend to know anything about that. But I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, you've been walking around for a decade or so, or maybe more, saying that this man is your father. And now you know that, as far as you concerned, this was your blood. Your father has colluded with another rapper, another person. Don't matter even if it's a rapper, another person to have your life ended. How are you feeling? What must be going through your mind as a person knowing that you have just given him all type of props and music? And ain't no telling what type of real stuff happened behind closed doors. At this particular point, y'all, the way this is playing out, you're forcing people around y'all to choose alliances. You're forcing people to be in the baby camp. You're forcing people to be in the Lil Wayne camp. Y'all had the opportunity to build a really great empire and make something good. And just like it seems like with all the black things around here, everything crumbles. I don't know whether it's women, money, or respect, but every black seem like empire that start to get going, whether it's No Limit, whether it's Bad Boy, just a lot of different record labels. It just, as time go on, they all seem to fall apart, and it can all be traced back to one or two things. Either money or somebody's getting more respect than the other person. But back to what I'm saying, if you're Lil Wayne, how are you feeling mentally? Where are you at? What do you do? Do you just brush this off and say it was nothing to it? Because it's definitely something to it. Someone shot up the tour bus. Now, Baby and Young Thug haven't been, charged with the shooting. But it just seems like, the indictment said that, they did collude to have this happen. Now, this Pee Wee Roscoe boy is the one who did the shooting. Had the car that allegedly was involved in the shooting in his Instagram pictures, and he attempted to erase them, and later the car was found at his relative's house. So, I don't know. It just seems like whenever people do come up with these type of plans, decide that they want to do something dumb and stupid and illegal, it seems like they go find the one person that shouldn't be trying to do this or pull this off to do it. And it always comes unraveled. It always comes loose at the seam, because I guess the only reason you can find the one person who shouldn't be doing it because they too stupid to realize that they shouldn't be doing it. This is the one person you can manipulate into doing something this stupid. This is the one person you can manipulate into treating his life like it has no value to it. Let's just flush it down the toilet because, such and such asked me to. No matter what pot of gold he promised you, it still isn't worth your life. And that's just the bottom line, and that's the God honest truth. Now, as Lil Wayne, do you feel like you need to retaliate? Or do you feel like you want to just let justice run its course? Does this send you into some type of depression or something? Because you say, yeah, me and him had beef, we wasn't getting along, but I ain't never once said I wanted to kill Baby. This is the type of thing where do you and Baby stop and really have a talk with each other and say, look, Baby, tell you what, you keep your money, because I think the lawsuit was dismissed or dropped or let go. You just say, hey, look, you keep that money, and if it's like that and you feel that I did something wrong to you, that you want to kill me, I got kids. At that point, do you man up as a man and Lil Wayne and say you sorry? Because it's gotten to the point where in the rap world, entertainment world period, but I'm specifically speaking in the rap world, haven't we had too much death over nonsense? Cause I'm old enough to remember the East Coast, West Coast violence. It was a serious thing that had regular normal people fearing. When you meet people and people were asking you where you from, it was one of them type of questions where sometimes you didn't know what to answer, because if they from the wrong coast or you from the wrong coast, it's a problem. So haven't we had too much of this already? Haven't we gotten to the point where music should just be enjoyed by everyone, and music is nothing to be a martyr over? Music is nothing to die from. Music is something to celebrate, to tell a story, or to make people dance, or just to get your point across. It is not to kill for, it is not to commit suicide over, and it's definitely not to die for. I just want everybody to kind of keep an eye on this story, kind of see where everybody goes from here. Lil Wayne, Young Thug, Birdman. What does everybody do at this particular point? Because these are some serious allegations, collusion. These are some allegations that, I don't know, that says that at some point some serious talks were going into having me killed. So what do you do? As a person, what do you really and truly do? Because it's hard, it would be hard for me to just look at baby the same, even if these allegations wasn't true or halfway true, somebody once told me, if it don't go all the way like that, it probably goes something like that, and that's a true statement when you're looking at stuff, because sometimes a lot of things may be far-fetched off, but I don't know, like they say, even a broke clock is right twice a day, so just keep your eyes out for that, and I hope that is not true. I mean, and Lil Wayne, keep your head up, keep your spirits right, because that's hard to deal with. Because if that was me and I found out that someone I considered to be a father figure to me wanted to have me killed, I don't know, that would be extremely, extremely devastating to me, So, man, that's a tough situation. All right, we're gonna move it right along. We're gonna get right into the Brandy video where she's singing on the subway and really didn't get that good of a response, and people saying that's embarrassing. First of all, she was, incognito, and there was no way for you to be able to tell that was Brandy whatsoever. And plus, depending on where she's at in one of the major places like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, you're not going to get a major response, because people are used to people singing on the trains and stuff a lot now. So people have become numb to it. People just go on about their daily business now. And plus, too, you could look at it as if she wasn't really trying to garner up that type of, attention where people wanted to throw money in a hat. She just hit a couple little notes, and a couple of them maybe wasn't, totally right. And I wouldn't be surprised if the person who was holding the camera probably just dared her to do this, to try to garner up some type of attention. Because I would imagine wherever she's at, she's probably there doing something, to play, something like that. So I would imagine she was trying to garner up some attention, and maybe it was just strictly the person who she was with dared her, and they recorded and they just put it out. Simple as that. And so the guy was trying to tell her if she just, apply herself and make it happen, that she could make it. But I mean, people keep looking at the fact that it was Brandy. Nobody knew that was Brandy. To them, that was just a random person singing. And a lot of time when a person just sings out on the train for no God-given reason, we automatically dismiss them as lunatics anyway. We automatically dismiss them as, wait a minute, if I could, I would kind of move a couple seats away from this particular person. Because in today's climate, it's just not normal for nobody just to be singing out loud, like that. So, I mean, Brandy, if I was you, I wouldn't take anything, I wouldn't even take it to heart. I wouldn't take it as it's embarrassing or nothing like that, because, I don't know, in today's climate, people are numb to it. And that's the bottom line. People are numb to a lot of everybody trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. So, I don't know. I just wouldn't take it to heart if I were you, Brandy. You did what you felt you had to do, and I'm willing to bet that you did what you was probably dared to do. So, and that's pretty much all I want to spend on that. I also wanted to talk real quick about this whole 50 Cent filing for, bankruptcy and all of that, and a lot of people saying that, oh, he's about to lose his money, and and he's gonna be broke. He did too much balling. He did it way too big and stuff like that. And I'm not even the biggest 50 Cent fan, but from reading over the papers, this is a business decision that he had to make. I don't know. I don't think, and I don't know that it's going to affect his personal wealth that well, but business wise, this is what he had to do. And people, you got to remember, you got to keep in mind for the layperson out there that his broke is definitely not me and your broke. You know, keep that in mind. The same way Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy. Do you really think that Donald Trump was at McDonald's trying to get 99-cent burgers? Do you really think his broke meant the same as your broke when we digging around in our change cup in our car trying to get a little money to buy a value meal? You think he was doing that? No, he was not doing that. So keep it all in perspective. And yes, he probably made a few bad business decisions along the way. And yes, over time, 50 Cent has proven that he can be an ass over time with the whole Rick Ross baby mama thing, with the whole Floyd Mayweather thing. You know, at times, you know, even though he is an adult, 50 act childish, you know, but I don't know. Just keep it in perspective there. Again, keep in mind his broke is definitely not our type broke, you know. So I just think that he did it what he had to do for as what his lawyers advised him to do to take some of the pressure off of his finances. He just declared he was going to file bankruptcy. So, you know, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. I just wanted to get right into that and say what I feel about that, you know. But I definitely want to get into right now. I told you I was going to add a new segment called My Top 5. And this week, it's going to be my top 5 movies.
Top 5.
So, me personally, my top 5, like I said earlier, is not going to, I don't know what they did in the movies. I don't know how much money they made. I don't know if they were critically acclaimed or anything like that. But my fifth best movie personally to me is There's Something About Mary. And I know a lot of people put off by Ben Stiller saying that he make a lot of the same movies, but this movie was legitimately funny to me. And every time it comes on, wherever I see it, I watch it. I mean, I honestly do. I mean, it's a good little movie. And for me, my number 4 movie is The Matrix. Because when I first saw The Matrix, it was just mind-blowing. We have never saw anything like that. You know, it was just amazing the way that they was blocking bullets and bending over and fighting. I mean, it had your mind blown, especially if you watched it with some surround sound. And, you know, it was just amazing. I cannot lie. All right, my third movie is definitely not going to win any awards or anything like that, but it's The Expendables, the first one. And the reason I say it's my third one because we had never seen all the action people put in one particular movie like that. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jason Statham, Jackie Chan. I mean, wow. I mean, it was just amazing to have everybody that you at some point had saw one of their movies somewhere. You know, at some point you were a fan of most of these guys, and for somebody to put it all together and make it come together, you know, in such a way that was actually action-packed and entertaining was great. All right, and for me, my second favorite movie of all time is The Notebook. And I know y'all gonna say, wow, he's, you know, for him to be a guy, you know, he picked a really soft movie. But to be totally honest with you, every time I watch that movie, it's very emotional. Because you could say to yourself, if you could find someone who loves you like that and willing to put in the time and keep coming back every day to take care of you, over and over and over, and when he know he only gonna maybe get 5 minutes of the real you because you're going through Alzheimer's, and the life that y'all spent together was so memorable. I mean, it brings tears to your eyes. I mean, you could only hope and imagine that you could find someone to love you like that. We all looking for that. Because let's just face it, man, after your hustling and your player days are done, at some point you're going to search for something real. You're going to reach out and hope you could touch something that's real. And I ain't talking about breast a ass or nothing like that. I'm talking about a heart. I'm talking about the type of love you can feel, you know. And at some point when you get tired of the games and you grow up, me and you're gonna want it. And I just think those two had it in the Notebook. And for me, my number one movie out of my top 5 is a movie called Open Range. It has Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner in it. And it's just a good old-fashioned Western type movie about some cattle ranchers, cattle herders. And it's just a movie that teaches men how to treat men. It teaches you that just because you feel you got money and you got some type of prominence and status doesn't mean you get to treat people any way you want to. You know, it shows you that at some point somebody's going to stand up to you. And just because you're bigger and you feel you're better than them doesn't mean you're going to defeat them. And that's the whole premise of this movie. So if you never watched Open Range, please find, it should be on Netflix somewhere or one of the other sites out there. Check it out. And that's my top 5. All right, let's get into the topic of the day. I was talking to a friend of mine, a female friend, and she was going through some things and said that, she was dating a guy. And she had told me when she first originally met the guy, that it was cool. He was taking her out. He was, doing little things to make her feel like he cared. He was remembering dates and just doing little stuff that made her feel like she was floating on cloud 9. Right? I remember when she told me all this. And then a couple days ago, I asked about him, and she promptly said he changed. And she asked me, why do men change? And it got me to thinking, why do men change? It's a lot of reasons that could go into that. It's a lot of different answers to that particular question. But I'm going to try to answer it from the perspective that I can answer it from, for what I know to be the truth, from what I've been through. And I look at it like this. We as men, we didn't really change. And that's the God to honest truth. We didn't change. What we did was got infected. Infected with the thought of new. See, new comes in and it changes your whole thought process. It infects your DNA, your soul, your mind, your rhythm, your skin. It infects everything because the thought of new drives us absolutely insane. So I look at it like an infection. Because what does an infection do? An infection changes who you are. And that's what happens with new. New is an infection that changes who we are. So you see us when we're in that infected stage where we've changed. Cause let's examine an infection. An infection sometimes give you fever, it give you chills, it give you shakes, it give you body pains, and it makes you just want to lay down sometimes because you're tired. It gives you fatigue. And all of those things are not who you are. Those are things that you become as a direct effect of the infection. So that's what new is. New is a direct effect of the infection. Cause new will make you do things that you would normally never do because the infection is setting in. And when the infection gets to the point where you can feel that new is finna totally infect you, it'll start making you, call her all times of night just to say one or two things to her like you miss her. New will make you remember when her breaks are, just to call to tell her that, hey, I was just thinking about you. You thinking about me? New will make you remember when her lunchtime is, to make you bring her up some food. Hey, I remember you like Indian food. I'm gonna drop you off some at work. New will make you say, hey, look, this new movie is coming out. You wanna go to this new movie? New will make you, when she says something she's never done, I'll make you go research it and then say, hey, you wanna do this? Wow, I've never done that. I know you said you never done it. New puts us in a whole new, mind, body, and soul state. Because the more the new shows promise, the more we're infected. And the worse your infection get, the more it changes you, right? All right. So now that we've established that the person is infected, and at this particular point when they're infected with the new, they're introducing you to what you women call the representative. So the whole time when you're being introduced to the representative, what is truly happening is the man is infected. So from the first time that he gets whiff of the new, he starts to become infected. From the time you start to show him that everything that he's doing is working on you, oh man, he's really becoming infected. And then there's that moment from when you guys lay together. That is the first moment he starts to get a cure. He starts to get inoculated from the infection. The more you lay with him and the more he sleeps with you, you're increasing the dosage of the medicine, which eventually, once the dosage get high enough, you're going to cure the infection. And once the infection is totally cured, you have what we call that man changed. See, he never really changed. All you did was cured him from the infection. But here's the thing, ladies. Infections have a weird way of working. They tend to spread. Now, in the process of him being infected, what he's done is he's spread the infection to you. And in the process of him spreading the infection to you, he had a mild form of it. But because y'all women are taught to love and nurture and take care of us and love us no matter what, when he infected you, it became severe and spread rapidly to the point where you made him become your world. The infection got it where you so delirious with fever, and we're going to use fever as love. You so delirious with fever that all you want is for him to be by your side and for him to love you. Because that's what women do. A good woman tends to love hard and love well. But we can't see it. See, because when we were affected, everybody starts to think about their own mortality when they think that they're sick, when they think that they're going to die. Everybody start talking all crazy. That's just like when guys go to jail, everybody start talking about how they're going to change their life, and they'll say, whatever, as long as you get me out. Behind the bars, they talking all good. When you're infected, and when you think that you're at the beginning of something, you love somebody, that's when you do right, you talk good. But guess what? You came along and you gave him all the medicine. You cured him. And now what has happened was you say he changed. What he did was become right. And now you're looking at it as if, oh, he's not coming home. He's not doing the little sweet things he once was. Now you find a number, or you find somebody texting him, and you say, oh, wow, this he once was infected. Now he's not infected no more. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. The problem is he's got reinfected. It's just with a different strain now. The strain of infection you saw him in, his body's become immune to that particular strain, and that strain is you. So now that he's immune to that particular strain, you're bumping your head up against the wall, wondering why things ain't the same, why it don't work no more, it just don't feel right. And then so now you find out that a new person has infected him, right? So now with the new person, the first thing a woman do, because this is what a woman does, she'll blame herself. She'll say, what didn't I do to make him want to stay infected? What didn't I do to make him want to be here and love me better? Love me right. And then after she get through blaming herself, instead of going to the person she should blame, she skips right over him and go right to the other person that has infected him, giving him the new strain. And she'll say stuff like, why is this woman messing up my happy home? But women, if you really think about it, by the time his infection had healed and he got infected by another person, and you say stuff like, why is she breaking up our happy home? Really, be honest with yourself. When was the last time you were actually happy in that home? You know, a lot of people like to say, you know, oh, they breaking up. She breaking up, she a home wrecker. She breaking up our happy home. This woman couldn't have infected that man unless he was around being exposed to the infection. You get what I'm saying? So now it gets to the point where, okay, you still love him. You're still infected. But what has happened is now the woman is starting to feel that, oh, this infection is becoming to the point where it's driving her crazy, where women start contemplating all type of things. But right before she hit her breaking point, when she feels she can't take it anymore, she meets somebody that infects her. And when he infects her, the infection feels twice as good as when she was infected by you, because she hasn't had it in so long that it feels doubly good. Now the infection is to the point where he's showing her attention. It feels twice as good as the attention you showed her. Now he's he's listening to her talk, care about her dreams, and it seems like he's twice the listener that you are. Now they're making rendezvous and meeting in places that you never did take her to. And when she take out to a restaurant, it seems twice as better as the restaurants you took her to. So what happens is, she still is infected by you, just a little bit, but not as much. But once he started infecting her, it comes in and it helps. She's not cured, but what it does is it replaces one infection with another infection. And then once you see that, she starts to look at you different, right? She starts to act different, treat you different. Because as men, the one thing we don't ever tend to pay attention to or look at is when you first meet a woman and you haven't done her wrong, you haven't lied to her, you haven't cheated on her, you giving her no reason to be no way but good to you. You look in her eyes and you see burning this lustful, bright fire. Then we lie to her, throw a little water on her, put it out a little bit more. Then we cheat on her, put a little bit more water on it. Now the fire is gone, but it's smoldering. You know, you can still see smoke. And if we took the time, once we saw the fire was gone and seen smoke, and tried to work on it and build that fire back up so it can burn again, we might could have saved the fire. We might could have rectified the situation, reconciliated, and saved something here. Even though we saw the flame was burning out, even though we saw it, we knew it, we saw nothing but smolder and nothing but smoke coming from it. We lie and cheat again, and then bam, we throw the final bucket of water on it. And then we put the fire out completely, and there's nothing but ashes. No, it's not even smoldering anymore. It's not even smoke anymore. It's nothing but ashes there. And let me talk to the people who smoked a cigarette before, who smoked a cigar before. If you're smoking a cigar and you smoke a cigarette and you make a mistake and drop it into the ashtray, right? And you pick it back up, you clean it off, but because you already got moisture on it from your mouth, you make a mistake and drop it into the ashes. But no matter how much you clean it off and then you put it back in your mouth, you still taste the ashes. Anybody who's ever done that know that ashes taste bitter. I'm talking about extremely bitter, to where you trying to spit them out your mouth because they bitter. Does it make sense to you now? That beautiful, bold, lustful fire you saw burning, that you kept on lying and cheating and throwing water onto till it was smoldering, now it's down to ash. And I just told you, ash tastes bitter. What have you done to the woman? Yeah, you made her bitter. So now she's looking at you different. Now she's not looking at you the same. She's looking at you all bitter now. You know, now, fellas, I'm directly talking to you now. Now that she's all bitter. Now, to anybody who will listen, to our friends, to our family, to our co-worker, what's the first thing we say when we turn a woman bitter? Oh, now she crazy. We'll tell anybody who listens she crazy now. But nobody don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Us men, I ain't gonna say nobody, us men don't understand that we made her crazy. We'll tell anybody who listens that she crazy. See, to regular people, crazy still has the regular definition of crazy. But let me explain to you something. To a man who has done wrong, to a man who has lied and cheated to a woman, we say crazy, but it don't mean crazy in the traditional sense. To a man who has lied and has cheated and who has done a woman wrong over and over and repeatedly, crazy means that she's finally woke up and won't take this shit anymore. That's what crazy means. Crazy means that she's had enough and she's realized that my sorry ass is sorry. Okay, now put that on the back burner. Now, this is the point where you know as a man that your woman has had enough. You'll know. One day you're going to wake up, she's just going to be looking at you and she's going to realize, boy, I got a half a piece of shit man here. And you got to go. And so now you got to go. Once again, you're telling everybody, hey man, why she made you leave? Man, that girl was crazy. You see what I'm saying? We quick to say crazy, but we don't understand that we contributed to crazy. You helped form crazy. And crazy really not crazy. Crazy is just another way of saying that she wised up, she got fed up with myself. You understand what I'm saying? Because look at it like this. That's just like, this is what us men do. It's like we get in a car, right? And you just going 100 miles an hour and just running over stuff. You don't care. You're going 100 miles an hour. It's like somebody tell us, stop, get out the car and look back behind you, right? And this is what we've done over our lifetime. When you get older and you actually get out the car from going 100 miles an hour, you stop, you look back behind you, you realize that you have so much collateral damage back there. You have told so many lies, have cheated so much, have left so many broken hearts, have played so many games. And when you look back at your life, you'll see them all. You'll probably see your first love, probably see your first baby mama, probably see some girls you don't even recognize anymore. You don't realize what you've done. You don't realize the collateral damage that you have done to the women. And I'm not male bashing or anything like that. I'm just saying when it comes to men, it's two things that we lack that give us the ability to truly love and love right. The first thing is we lack selflessness. See, women have it because they can love their kids and love their man and give themselves totally of the situation. They can, feed the men before they eat, feed the kids before they eat, because women are just God-given nurturers like that. Us men, we only become selfless when we reach a certain point in our life. And usually that certain point coincides with you getting older. And the second thing that we lack as men is empathy. See, we'll have it for complete strangers. We'll have it for people we don't even know, co-workers and people who just don't matter in your life. But when it comes to the people we love, we don't have it, because we'll put them right at the top of the list of the people we'll hurt first. So if we just had those two things, we will be better as people, as men, and as lovers. So ladies, my thing to you is the men didn't change. It's just that new drives us crazy. New for some reason will make us jump out the window without knowing what the hell is on the ground to catch us, all in the attempt to get new. Because what's tried and true and good to us ain't what floats our boat. So many men have thrown away their life, thrown away their families, have broken relationship with kids, all over new. How about we change it up, fellas? How about we make new new at home? And here's the thing. A lot of men complain about the women are different these days, right? The reason women are different are because we played games and BS for so long that we forgot that we were dealing with living, breathing human organisms. And God made every organism on this earth, gave them the ability to evolve and adapt. And that's all the women have done, fellas. They have evolved and they have adapted. See, they have learned to do us how we've done them. Plain and simple. So when you wonder why the women got to be the way they are, we created it, fellas. We created a culture where we forced them to evolve. We forced them to adapt. So don't get mad saying there are no good women out there. They still out there. They've just adapted and evolved. So I'm going to leave that right there. And I'm going to just say that the men don't change. They were always that same particular way. So a lot of times, because y'all women are just so want to be loved and sometimes so lonely and just can't see what needs to be seen. It's there sometimes, but y'all just don't want to see it. Or the beginning of this feels so new because in your mind you think there's no baggage there. He's not like your baby daddy. He's not like your ex-husband. Right now it feels so good to be free and not to worry about baby mama drama and all that type of stuff. It's only there because he's not let you in far enough for you to see all those same things exist. And I'm not saying there's not no good men out there, and I'm not saying there's not no good women out there. But what I am saying is, don't it seem like it's really hard for the two to connect? Don't it really seem hard for the good woman to find a good man? For the good man to find a good woman? Don't it seem like no matter how much you say you're going to change your dating criteria, you always end up with the same old type of person? So if you believe that God don't have a sense of humor, I'm telling you, now's the time to start believing, because it's amazing. So I'm going to leave it right there, because I know I'm going to get a lot of email about this particular subject, but I just wanted to try to shed a little light on, what's really going on, try to put it in a different perspective. And I don't know how it's going to come across. I don't know if some of y'all going to get it and some of y'all not going to get it. But I just know it had to be put out there. And once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Random Select. You can find us on Twitter at Random Select, and that's with Select with 2 T's. You can also leave us an email at randomselect@gmail.com. That's also Select with 2 T's. And I definitely want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you guys for listening to me ramble. But hopefully I can shed a little light, a little perspective on why men change, So until next time, people, I want to thank you for tuning in. Have a great time. This is Mario, and the Select is out.
You have been listening to Random Select. Thank you. Goodbye.